is the manager of your Texas Rangers, Bruce Bochy. Good afternoon, sir.
Hey, guys. Hey, how we doing?
Well, probably about the same as you, and I was kind of curious.
We're here to help, Bochy.
Yeah,
We're here to fix it all.
Please. I'll take some help.
Are you able to separate your personal mood from what's happening with the baseball team? Like, you've been doing this for a long time. Like, how much does that trickle in to your personal life, your mood based on how a team is doing?
Well, I'd be lying if I didn't say it affected your mood at times. I mean, we're human. I mean, after the game, I get the group together in the clubhouse. Say, hey, I'll own that one. I decided to watch Walt Marte there. He's such a big right-handed bat. I didn't want to get burned again. We have some history. I've seen him a lot back when I was with the Giants, and he's just a big threat and didn't work out. And I told the guys that's on me. So, you have your moments in this game where, some sting more than others. But sure, last night we got hit twice. I had a one-run lead in the ninth. The home run got us, and then had a two-run lead. We couldn't hold on to it. Those games are going to bother you. I don't care who you are, the players, the coaches, manager. But with that said, you can't hold on to it. You wash it off, as we say, flush it. But it takes a little longer on some games than others. There's no getting around that.
We were just talking about, based on like pitch count for the year and depth that Jordan Montgomery's gone in the game, we felt like it made sense why he didn't go out there for the ninth. Was there any conversation between y'all about sending him back out there for the ninth?
Well, Mike and I talked about it, but when he was coming off the ninth, it just made all the sense in the world to take him out. And I'll tell you why. The first hitter had a line drive base hit, even though he's a left-hand hitter. Marte had a base hit one, a line drive to the wall. So, we thought with it going back around the order, of course, where he was at the pitch count, and on top of that, Chapman was fresh and good to go, that it was time. He did his job, and we had a really good closer out there with really good stuff. And, gets the first out and things that split, and, unfortunately it didn't work out. Now, you can always look back. If he'd gone out there and given up a home run, then, the question would be asked, what's Chappie here for? So you just don't know, how it's going to play out. But, with all the things, all the variables that we looked at, sure, that's what made our decision. Hey, he did his job. We got a really hard thrower out there now for 3 outs. And then he goes out there in the 10th. I'm talking about Chappie. Now he does a great job with man on second. You just got to, I guess, tip your cap to a piece of good hitting by Marte.
Well, Bochy, I just wanted to let you know, Kevin, whenever we have a bad show or something like that, Kevin calls Mike and yells at him, and that's like his typical approach. And so that's, if you have somebody like that can take it, Mike does a good job of being there for Kevin in those moments. The
motivation by fear is really a go-to.
I was kind of like, these games that have been kind of close or been, ones that you're like, man, what really happened there? It's where the bats just aren't quite the same. And we keep seeing people saying, oh, they're just out of gas. And we're trying to figure out exactly what are you looking at? What are you seeing with the bats that isn't quite the same as it was earlier in the year?
Well, I think that's fair to say. I mean, the bats are not quite where they were. Jonah's coming off that injury. I don't think he's gotten his timing yet. I think he's fine. He doesn't feel anything with it, but it's pretty obvious he's just not locked in at the plate. Dolly, is good to see him hit a home run yesterday. Now with him, he was just expanding the zone, and he should not be tired. These guys I'm talking about have had time off, the ones that are going through a tough time right now. Now, hopefully, Adolis is out of it and he can get back to being who he is. But, you can't say enough about what Corey's been doing for us. Marcus had a couple hits yesterday, but we're not seeing quite the same production at the bottom of the lineup that we were getting with Duran and Leo. I was encouraged with Leo's at bats. He hit a couple balls hard. I thought he competed really well last night, but that was a big part of our production if you go back early in the season. So there's no question you're going to miss a guy like Josh Young, but we haven't made excuses all year. We're not going to do them now. But you look at a really outstanding player that has been missing with their defense and with their offense, and that's where we got to pick it up somewhere else, and that really hasn't happened.
Now, you just brought up a player I was interested in. You gave us a really great answer a couple weeks ago about the struggles of Duran and how to overcome it. I'm kind of curious what needs to happen with Leody to get him kind of out of this month-long funk. Yesterday notwithstanding, which obviously that was a step in the right direction.
Right. It's just work. You got to keep working and get back to having that good foundation he had when he was going well. Sometimes he just has loose feet, I say. You'll see him sometimes when he takes a pitch. We want him grounded well and staying behind the ball and just shrink the zone a little bit, just make them throw strikes. It's hard to take a good swing at a pitch that's not in the strike zone. And that's why you're seeing some of these swings, because we have been expanding more. You look at, the walk percentage, that's down. And so whether it's pressing, I don't think fatigue should be it. I just think sometimes that, your confidence gets shaken a little bit. But, these guys are our guys. You saw J.P. Martinez. He came up, and he couldn't do anything wrong. And then I think he started pressing a little bit, and it's that's one of the hardest things that come out of it. You talk to them, you build their confidence, and you just keep working at it, and that's what we have to do. And hey, I really believe we're going to come out of this. There's no question about it. Meanwhile, we got to find a way to win these close games. That's what's hurting us, and what's hurting us is the lone ball. That's what's kind of gotten us here. I mean, you go back earlier in the week, Spores, he's been so good. Santana got him for that 3-run homer. San Francisco, we gave up a home run. Of course, Chappie yesterday. So, I thought that's what Montgomery did so well yesterday. He kept the ball on the ground for the most part.
Boch, these are, first of all, amazing interviews. This is so fun to listen to and to get to learn from you specific situations from last night's game throughout your career. And then I'm wondering, because you've managed a lot of different teams in different situations, and a team can kind of change on you during a season. When we're talking about this offensive team, how do you get a feel of, you know what? I'm going to put on a few more maybe hit and runs. I'm going to steal a few more. I'm going to try to steal a run in this situation. Like, when do you have a feel for your team? Like, I don't need to. They are hitting doubles in the gap left and right. Or, you know what? I'm going to manufacture something here. I'm going to put a little bit more pressure on this team.
Well, that's something we talk about every series. We look at the pitchers, the times that we think we have a chance to steal a base. As far as the hit and running, you have to have the right personnel, guys that can do that. We do have a couple guys, but we have some swing and miss guys. It's a little bit tougher when you have a few guys that's probably not their strength, so to speak. But I do like 2 or 3 guys at the plate where we do put them in motion when we're trying to get something going. But overall, it's not a real hit and run team. If you run down the order, I mean, Corey, you're not going to hit and run with. Lowe's not really a hit and run guy. Garcia's not. Josh Young, Garv. So it's a team that has to be aggressive on the bases. Don't get me wrong, and we do try to push it when we can as far as stealing the base. Corey took second base yesterday in the 11th inning, and ended up being the second run. So, if we can get it, we'll get it. But at the same time, you don't want to start running in and out. And now you've gotten in a little bit of a panic mode where, okay, I got to force the issue and have them come out of what they're good at doing.
Boch, I've seen before games Ezekiel Duran work so hard at shortstop, third base, left field, learning multiple positions at the big league level. What can you say about, I know defensively he struggled a little bit here of late on somewhat his work ethic and how he can feel more confident when that ball's hit to him at the hot corner?
Right. Zeke has really handled everything so well. Third base is a position that he hasn't had a lot of time at, and it's a reactive position. I mean, it's at shortstop got a little bit more time. Second base, where he's really comfortable, or even the outfield. So he's, I think, done okay there. Now he had the game with the 3 errors, and I've seen that before. When a young player makes an error, then he starts pressing a little bit down there. But he's big enough to get over that, and so we're confident that he's going to continue to do a nice job there. We don't try to base anything on one game. I know early go, I think he made an error, but he's been making some pretty good plays too. So you stick behind these guys. It's who we have, and we need to because our third baseman is out right now. We
just saw that Eovadi's kind of getting more of the bullpen time and feeling a lot
live
more,
BP.
Yeah, I'm feeling a lot more confident there, and I'm just kind of curious how important you think it is to get him back in this lineup and how quickly. Or in this rotation, and how quickly, and what do you think him being back would mean to this clubhouse?
Well, I certainly think it would be a shot in the arm for the guys. He's one of our guys. When Jacob went down, he became the leader of the staff, and he was just throwing so well and doing a great job out there. So that's going to send a sense of confidence throughout the club. He had a really good session yesterday. Got up and down twice. Then the third time he got up and just threw some warm-up pitches. So I really like where he's at. We're going to talk about his situation today and see what our next move is. But he's knocking on the door right now as far as coming back. It's just up to us and Nate to decide, what's the best way to come back here, whether it's start a game like an opener, 2 or 3 innings, give him a rehab. These are all the variables that are involved with our decision.
I had a question about one more of those variables. Is the biggest thing you learned today, like Eovadi telling you how his arm feels, or is it how it felt while he was throwing? Is it more important in the bullpen or this morning?
I think today, if he would have felt something during the session yesterday, he would have said something. But sometimes it shows up the next day, and that's kind of what happened maybe 4 or 5 bullpens ago. He got through the bullpen fine, then the next day he woke up and had a little behind the arm, a little bit achiness, or it just became a little cranky. That's all. It was nothing that really concerned us, but that's when that showed up. So I think today we'll really know where he's at.
Now, I saw a picture over the weekend of Corey Seager's bat, and it looked very used and very worn. Will Middlebrook said, if you ever see a player whose bat looks like this, it means they're all the way locked in. I'm guessing that's because he's been on fire and you don't want to make a change. Are all guys like that with their bats? Were you like that with specific bats while you were playing?
Oh, no question. My bats never last that long, though. I got my bat's broken a lot. That's how good Corey is. So if you see a bat with that much pine tar and that dirty, that means he is squaring up the ball. He's not hitting it on the handle or on the end of the bat where he's breaking it. So that's always a good sign when you see a hitter holding an old dirty bat.
So, Bruce, I have a fun question for you, I think. I was watching a documentary by Ken Burns this week, and it's about country music. Now, you've talked about you're a country music fan?
I am.
So this was on the 1970s of country music. So the young listeners right now might be like, I have no clue what you're talking about. But I was wondering, if you could only listen to one person, would you listen to George Jones or Hank Williams Jr.?
Oh, that's tough.
Oh, man, you got me on that one. I like them both. I would go Hank Jr. I just, George is, he's more traditional country. Hank's a little more country rock. He was more in my day in the 70s. I mean, George was big in the 70s, but he's also big in the 60s or even late 50s.
Yeah.
I mean, outstanding. But I grew up more on Hank Jr. on Josephus.
Did you know that Hank Jr. fell off a 500-foot cliff on a mountain?
What?
And survived it?
I did. Incredible how he survived that. I mean, I think it split his head open. I mean, this guy, he was hanging by a thread after the fall, and he not just recovered, but recovered to have a tremendous career, didn't he?
Yeah.
Do you ever tell that to a player who has a sketchy injury and might go on the injured list? You're like, did you know that Hank Williams fell off a 500-foot cliff and he was all right?
Yeah, I don't know if it was 500. I thought it was like 70 feet.
Oh, maybe
that's a big difference.
I will tell you what, it might be different.
It was a 500-foot trek.
Okay. So, by the way, Boch, you said that people
that would leave a mark if I 500 foot fall.
So got that one wrong.
No, it was 500 feet. He fell 500 feet. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just looked it up. Sorry.
Okay. Well, Boch, when you say that you need something to be loaded on your computer, Ken Burns, who did obviously the baseball documentary on PBS, he has a country music documentary that I don't know how old it is, but it's really good. So if you need something to watch on country music, it's good.
Yeah, I'll try to get that on tonight because we fly to Minnesota. We're off tomorrow, and I'll turn it on, try to just get away for a little bit.
Well, we appreciate your time, as always, and the in-depth answers you always give us. Best of luck, obviously, this evening, finding that documentary, and we'll catch up with you next week.
All right, guys. Thank you. Good talking with you. I will see you.